Embarrass ourselves.
I kind of like how embarrassing it is. Yes, we're live. Yay! Hello, guys. Welcome to another one of our live session. It is 8 a.m. on Sunday, New Zealand time, and we are here for another one of those live sessions where the team behind BackpackerGuide.NZ is answering all your questions about traveling in New Zealand.
All right, so if we are just meeting for the first time, this is Robin and I'm Laura, and together we are the team behind BackpackerGuide.NZ, which is New Zealand's largest travel guide and absolutely free to use. Just browse for BackpackerGuide.NZ and you'll have a full guide to everything you need to know about New Zealand. But if you do have some very specific questions, then this live video Q&A that we do every single Sunday is the perfect place to come to ask your specific questions about traveling in New Zealand. Whether you're doing a working holiday or a family vacation, a campervan road trip, or you're wanting to do some hikes or adventure activities, anything, we will be here to answer your questions. So you can ask your questions on multiple different social media platforms. You can join us in the live chat right now and type in your questions and we'll make sure to answer them in this video today. Otherwise, throughout the week, if you have some questions but you might not be able to make the live chat, then just stick your questions in the comments of any one of our YouTube videos and we'll add them to our pool of questions that Robin has printed out and prints out every single week for us to go through. You can also catch us on Facebook if you just search Backpacker Guide NZ and send us a private message. You can also send us a private message on Instagram at BackpackerGuide.NZ and on Twitter if you mention us at BPKGuide. And the time where we do the live Q&A every Sunday, it's actually every Sunday, 8 a.m. New Zealand time, but around the world, that is on Saturday. In the US, that's 2 p.m. EST or 11 a.m. PST. In Europe, so UK, France area, it's around 7 p.m. And in India, that is around 12:30 a.m. on Sunday. So where are you guys from? Let us know in the live chat and tell us what time it is where you're from, just so we can keep up to date on the times.
Someone's already saying that it's Saturday for them, so you must be in Europe, Abe or Abe. I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry.
Belgium, cool.
Belgium. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, definitely. It's Saturday. Yeah. It's Saturday over there. All right. So while you guys are 8 o'clock in Belgium. Look at that. That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So while you guys are getting warmed up and start thinking about your questions or start typing your questions, we're going to go through a little bit of our pool and a few questions that we received. And I kind of want to get started with the question we received on Facebook from Natalia. And so Natalia on Facebook asked, hey, what is the number one place to go for a jet boat ride in New Zealand? All right. Do you want to get us started?
Yeah, sure. So the first place that springs to mind for me is Rapids Jet, which is based in Taupo, and that's right in the central North Island. And what's really cool about Rapids Jet is that this jet boat goes over whitewater rapids. So it's kind of like a mix between whitewater rafting and jet boating, which is an absolute thrill ride. And you even catch some air because they sort of use the whitewater as ramps and then, just crash into the water. And it's super, super fun. And it's very different to other jet boat rides in New Zealand. So that's definitely one to think about. Do you want to go for another one?
Yeah, definitely. So one of the ones that I do really like is also actually nearby Taupo, and it's NZ River Jet. And I really like it because it gives you so many different options. It's not just a jet boat ride. You get to visit places as well, which is really cool. So you got two options. You can go to Orake Korako, which is one of the geothermal hotspots of the area. So you basically do the thrilling jet boat ride, and then they just drop you there, and then you go do the tour around the geothermal area, and then you get back on the jet boat, and you do another thrilling ride back to the base. And the other option, which is the one I personally prefer so much more, and you can check out a video that we've done about it if you go on our channel and you type squeeze, because the name is the squeeze. It basically takes you all the way to a very narrow canyon where you have to squeeze yourself through, and you keep on making your way through lush native bush, beautiful rock formation, and you're having an natural hot pools, which is really awesome. There is a massive waterfall. You go there, you take some awesome pictures. The pictures are free, which is really cool. It's a really awesome tour. I really do like this one.
Yeah, that's really awesome. And in Queenstown, another one that springs to mind, like Queenstown is the adventure capital of New Zealand. So that's a really cool place to go and do jet boating. And probably the most popular one in Queenstown is the Shotover jet, which takes you down the Shotover River. It has towering river gorge walls, and you get really close near misses to the side of the river gorge wall. So it feels like you're about to crash into the wall sometimes, but then the driver sort of swerves you away right at the last second. It's super scary, but really cool. And the way their jet boat is designed is basically so it just does a 360 spin so easily and so cool. And yeah, so that's based in Queenstown. But another one that's quite similar to Shotover Jet, which is another one actually based in Taupo, is Hooker Falls Jet, and they're actually have the same jet boat design. So you get that really cool like near misses on the side of the river. And the Hooker Falls Jet takes you to the base of Hooker Falls. If you've seen any photos of Hooker Falls, this is a crazy waterfall which has like insane rapids, and in a jet boat going right up to the bottom of that waterfall is absolutely crazy. And the whole force of the waterfall is pushing the jet boat back the whole time. So that's super cool.
It's really impressive to see.
Yeah.
And this is basically the closest you will ever go to the Hooker Falls, I have to say, because otherwise you just see them from top. So it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so another one, I think that's going to round up like a top 5 about that. So it's one, I'm going to read it from the page because I can't pronounce it, but Waihori Jet. So Waihori Jet. We will put a link in the description below to our video about the place, so you have the whole spelling and you see what it is all about. Yeah. So it is in the Fiordland National Park. It's such a hidden gem. It's an amazing place on Earth, and they take you through amazing location, really amazing. And you have a little bit of white rapids as well, which is quite cool. Like a little bit of it's kind of a bit of a bumpy ride, and you go in a place where only a few thousand people have ever been to. Right? Let's be honest. There's really not that many people that go to there. There is a really amazing barbecue, which is always really awesome. You know, like you can't underestimate the power of food. And it's probably one of the only one in the country, I think, that takes you from literally the mountain to the sea. So you start in the Fiordland National Park, you go almost all the way to the coast, which is quite amazing. So you go from mountain to sea, you see the whole place. You start on the beautiful lake, you finish, at the estuary. It's quite amazing. And then obviously they get you back. You don't have to hike. But yeah, it's a really awesome jet boat, and it's one of my favorites in the country as well. So that rounds up about our top 5, but we're going to go through a few honorable mentions, so everybody kind of has plenty of choice. And let's get started.
Yeah, so there's a jet boat in Glenorchy, which is a short drive from Queenstown, again taking you to some really wilderness area. So it's aptly named Wilderness Jet, so that's worth checking out. There's also the Whanganui River Adventures on the famous Whanganui River on the North Island, and that is a really awesome one as well. And Akaroa Jet is in the awesome little harbour town of Akaroa, taking you actually on the ocean, on the sea, so that's a little bit different to other jet boat rides in New Zealand. Do you want to say some other ones?
Discovery Jet takes you on a beautiful, what's the name of the river?
Rakaia
River, a beautiful milky blue river. It's pretty awesome. Sending, we've done them, almost all of them we've done them, so check out the videos on the channel so you know what you're into. Skipper's Jet Canyon, Skipper's Canyon, Skipper's Jet or Skipper's Canyon, one of those. It's a whole experience, kind of, even just the drive to get there is absolutely crazy. One of the most dangerous roads in the world, so it's quite a thrill from start to finish, I have to say. Waitoto Jet takes you in the Fiordland National Park again, but on the another side.
It's on the Aspiring National Park.
No, sorry, on the Aspiring National Park, so nearby, in the same area, the Fiordland stuff.
The UNESCO World Heritage Area, which covers all that area.
Here you go. So really amazing place to visit. And obviously there are plenty more. So we're going to be linking to the 17 best jet boats in the country, and there's really a ton of them, and they all have kind of like one special little point for them. So have a look at this list that we put the link below. Check it out. Also check out all the videos that we have about jet boat, because we've done so many. So all of that is in the description below. And now, if you have a question of your own, make sure to put it in the comment below as well so we can get to it either next week if you're watching a rerun or right now. Let's take a minute to quickly have a look at the chat. There is a lot of people right now. Hello, everybody. Glad to have you on board. All right, so Hardeep is asking a question about the favorite hot pools in New Zealand. So we're going to take your question next, Hardeep. I like it a lot. Heshan is asking about graduating in March and he wants an internship, but he doesn't know where to start for IT. Which city do you recommend me to move to? For IT, there is actually quite a lot of job I've found in Wellington and in Christchurch. In Auckland, it's really competitive, so have a look at which one you want to go for. Ibe, man, you really have to tell me if I pronounce your name correctly. Ibe is asking if New Zealand is electric car friendly. So New Zealand is actually working toward becoming more electric car friendly, but right now it's really just the birth of the friendliness toward electric car, right? You can find,
I was just going to say, we're actually seeing more and more signs up for showing you where like basically charging stations are on the main highway.
Yeah.
So it is getting there. There are a lot more cropping up.
Yeah. I don't think it would be yet sustainable for doing a road trip around New Zealand because I don't think there is that many stations around. So I don't think you'll be able to actually do that. But yeah, for now, it's just a start. So I don't think you'll be able to do a road trip that way. Then Dikshan is asking, what is the best, Auckland or Wellington?
Personally, I like Wellington. It's pretty cool. That's if you're really into city experiences and culture and arts and stuff, Wellington's really awesome. But we have lived in Auckland for quite a while ourselves, and we do like Auckland as well. That's really good for doing road trips and boat trips out to the islands. So if you like to get out and explore, Auckland is better than Wellington. So Wellington's good for city. Auckland is good for getting out of the city.
Yeah, exactly. Rajiv is saying that he's a chef and he wants to come to New Zealand to make his dream come true. Tell me about the professional. Tell me about how our professional. So Rajiv, I don't understand your question. Sorry, but if you do have any immigration style questions, this is not the right place to ask because in New Zealand you actually have to be a licensed immigration advisor to give immigration answers, and we are not licensed immigration advisors, so we always have to refer you to Immigration New Zealand when you have questions. Anuj is saying that he was sending save the dates cards, and you can say hi. Hey Anuj, I received your message on Facebook. I'll reply at some point. We're just really busy at the moment. 70 Eel.
Yeah.
I'm destroying all of you guys' name. I'm sorry.
Can you make it a bit bigger?
I can't. Yeah,
you can't read it.
No.
Okay.
So he's coming in June for a working holiday. I need tips for jobs and when to apply for them. He's from the Netherlands. So the best tip I can give you is that you should be watching the 20+ minute long video about finding a job in New Zealand that we've done. So on this channel, there is a video called How to Quickly Find a Job in New Zealand. And we put a ton of tips there. So I would advise you to watch this video. And then just if you have some follow-up questions, just type them on there. And then next week, we'll be able to make a video for your follow-up questions. Just because we did prepare this video, it took us like a good week to prepare that video. And we put literally all the tips that we have. So that'd be much better than actually doing that right now. Because we won't remember everything.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. In the meantime, we're going to go through the question from Hardeep. So Hardeep was asking on YouTube, which are your favorite natural hot pools in New Zealand? All right. So now the first thing you need to know about natural hot pools in New Zealand is that a lot of them are actually kind of commercial as well. So they're natural, but they actually created a business around it. So sometimes you're not going to be sitting just in a natural rock pool. You may be sitting in a well-designed pool, but it's natural water and it was naturally heated by the ground with it. So that's kind of a distinction that you need to keep in mind, and that will help you kind of understand a little bit what we have on our list. I think one of your favorites is Hell's Gate, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's really cool. That's a different hot pool because they actually have mud pools there, which is pretty awesome. So I think that's the only place in New Zealand where you can sit in mud pools, and apparently the mud is meant to be very good for your skin, and you can let that sort of dry on you, and then you can wash all the mud off afterwards. So that's a really different experience to have. And Hell's Gate is actually located in Rotorua, which is in the central North Island. But Rotorua really is the sort of literally the hot spot for natural hot pools. So while Hell's Gate is a commercial operation where you will need to pay to go there are a few actually free natural hot pools that you can go and explore around the Rotorua area. One place that springs to mind for me is Kerosene Creek, which is sort of out on the state highway as you're leaving Rotorua to go to Taupo, and then there's a little bit of a side road. We'll give the finer details in a link that we'll link up after this live video of the 5 natural hot pools that you'll be able to find in Rotorua for free. And yeah, Kerosene Creek is a really cool one because it has a bit of a waterfall falling into the hot pool where you bathe. So that's a really nice place, although it is a little bit muddy underfoot because you are literally sat in a river.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of free one, there is one very similar one in Taupo, right?
Yeah. So in Taupo, along the Waikato River, there's a place called Spa Park, which again is a pretty good name for the place because it does have like a natural hot spring running through it. And just where that hot spring meets the Waikato River, the water is just nice enough to go and bathe in it. And if you get too hot, you can go closer to the river and then, get cold and then go back into the hot water again. And that's got a lot of nice little waterfalls there. And actually at that place, although it's free, they've started developing around the area where there's places to sort of sit and like dip your feet in the hot pools. And they're sort of really making the area quite nice for people. There's actually changing rooms and stuff there now as well. So
yeah, they just redid the whole complex recently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just recently they've upgraded everything, and that's a really cool place to go and actually go for free to enjoy a natural hot pool there.
Yeah, one of my favorite one as well is Hammer Springs. Actually, in Hammer Springs, there's a big complex, so it doesn't feel natural at all in Hammer Springs. You have to know that it's kind of a much bigger complex, but it's really cool to have so many different options when you go there. You get all the different temperatures. You can go from 39 degrees, 36 degrees, 37 degrees. I don't know if they have 39. You'll be cooking in 30. I don't know. Like
yeah,
there's
they
even,
do, yeah.
Yeah, there's even like a big slides and all those kind of things. So you kind of get to do quite a different thing. So if you want to sit down and relax, you can sit down and relax in Hammer Springs hot pools, or you can have like a big blast and have a lot of fun. Another one that we did visit was the Morere Springs.
Oh yeah,
Morere.
Yeah, so that's on the South Island, and on the South Island there are a lot less natural hot springs that you can find, but there are some. And
Hammer Springs was on the South Island.
Oh yeah, that's very true. Yeah,
just pointing that out.
Whoops. Yeah, so Morere Hot Springs that's very affordable to go and visit. Again, it's taking natural thermal mineral water from across a river, bringing it in pipes into a hot springs complex, and then you get to bathe in it there. And that's a really awesome like mountainous scenery around you. So it really feels like, a really beautiful wilderness area while you're bathing in the hot springs. So that's worth checking out as well.
Yeah, definitely pretty cool.
Yeah.
Another one, which is actually a godsend when the weather is bad, it's the Glacier hot pools, which are in Franz Joseph. Are they natural though? I'm actually having a doubt right here.
It is from spring. It is taken from spring water.
Yeah.
I think they. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. If it is natural, but you have to check this one out. Basically, there are some hot pools with glacial water there. And basically, if in Franz Joseph it's raining, everybody goes to the hot pools and kind of relax, and you still have a good day, which is kind of cool. And another one is the Maruia Hot Springs, which is also on the South Island, which is at the end of which pass? Outer pass?
Oh, right? I was getting Marere Hot Springs and Maruia Hot Springs
mixed up.
Marere is in. Okay. Oh.
Boo! That's one of the first big mistake on the live video.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so the Morere Hot Springs that Laura was talking about are nearby.
Morere Hot Springs are actually in Hawke's Bay near the. It's in a town called Morere, but that's near Wairoa.
Yeah. And the Maruia Hot Springs is exactly what Laura was talking about down in the South Island. All right, we're going to wrap up this one on that big mistake so like that everybody can comment below. Boo! Laura. But anyway, these are our favorite hot pools in New Zealand. I hope that answered your question. Hardip, let us know if you want to know anything else. There's plenty of options, and it's more something that you don't really plan ahead. It's just when you get really bad weather and everything, you just kind of like, there is a hot pools behind, like nearby, so just go there and go have fun. Questions of your own in the comment below, and we're getting back to the live chat to answer some more questions. All right, so we're going to go rather quickly. So it's Ibe, he just helped me pronouncing his name,
yeah.
so now I know how to say your name. Yuyan Lim, welcome on board. He's asking about Weather Care Saints. That's the really hard to pronounce campervan company.
Oh yeah.
So actually, they're pretty cool. They don't have any relocation fee, which is quite cool, and they are linked to one question we're actually going to be answering because someone's asking about them. So if you stick around for a few more minutes, we're actually going to be talking about them real soon. But yes, they are good, and if you find a good price with them, definitely book them. Dikshan is asking about water pollution in New Zealand, one of the highest in the developed world. New Zealand has a lot of farming around, and so a lot of the waterways are polluted. The water that you drink is actually very safe to drink, and it's totally fine. But it is true, a lot of the waterways in New Zealand are polluted, and it's just due to the over farming, and it's something which is common in many parts of the world. And you want to eat steak? This is what happened. So let's all stop eating cows, and everything will be better. And Anuj is asking about the Otorohanga Kiwi House and Nature Bird Park versus Rainbow Springs. They both have pros and cons. I think that the easiest one to access and to fit in your trip, because we did already help you with the trip, would be Rainbow Springs, where we did discuss that.
Yeah.
So I think you should just stick to.
And
Rainbow
we do have
Springs.
videos on both of those.
Yeah.
So if you search in YouTube, type BackpackerGuide.NZ, then Otorohanga Kiwi House, or BackpackerGuide.NZ Rainbow Springs, and we have videos on both of those.
So check out our take on both, and see which one you fancy the most. All right, cool. So let's take the next question. And Yuyan, this is going to answer yours as well. Anyway, we had someone on Instagram. So Tracy2366 said, "Hi, can you help us?" Yes, we can. Next question. We are from the UK and traveling for 12 months, starting in the USA and then Vancouver, and then a trip into New Zealand on the 4th of August until the 28th of August. We fly into Auckland and out of Christchurch, and we are hoping to hire a campervan to travel from the north to the south island. Do you have any suggestion? Thank you. Bring the board!
This sounds like it's an itinerary.
Yeah. All right, cool. So it's 3 weeks in New Zealand. What would be the best itinerary for 3 weeks in New Zealand? Also, what would be the campervan company that would be good to hire in Auckland and drop off in Christchurch? So let's start with the itinerary first. And so you're starting in Auckland. And then we'll recommend going to Hahei, Waitomo, Rotorua, Taupo, Tongariro, Urahine, Wellington, Picton, Nelson, Punakaiki, Franz Joseph, Wanaka, Queenstown, Milford Sound, Mount Cook, Geraldine, and finally finishing in Christchurch. All right, so we got a whole really full itinerary for you. Now, with this itinerary, a couple of notes right here. This does not do 30. There's no 30 points right here, but it will allow you to have multiple days in selected areas. You're really going to appreciate that as soon as you travel more than 2 weeks, you're going to want to take more than 1 day in some places, just so you can take a breather. Otherwise, being on the road every single day is just way too much. It's absolutely crazy.
Definitely.
Also, it will allow, we say that we just spend an entire year on the road, but also, we avoided the Northland right here because it is a great area to visit, but it doesn't necessarily, it's not really endemic of what New Zealand looks like. And if you are in a round the world trip, you're probably going to find some beautiful beach in other locations that you're going to be visiting. And obviously, there are plenty of places that you can definitely remove from your itinerary, Tracy. And you can say, listen, I don't care about this one, and you have more time somewhere else. And so you just have slightly bit longer drive. But also with that, we also made sure that we pick you an itinerary that never have more than 3-hour drive in a day, just because that would be a little, you're on a holiday, you want to travel around, you want to see things, you don't necessarily just want to drive. All right. So you arrive in Auckland, New Zealand's largest city. This is where the main airport is. It's just yet another big city. If you do have some extra time, the one thing I will do is I will take 1 day to take the ferry to Rangitoto Island and visit this amazing volcano over there and get some beautiful view of the Hauraki Gulf and then come back. Then you're going to be moving on to Hahei. So Hahei is Cathedral Cove. You probably saw some beautiful pictures of that where they shot Narnia. So you get this beautiful A-arch cave above this golden sand beach. It's picture perfect. And if you have some spare cash, do a kayak tour here. Then you're moving on down to Waitomo. In Waitomo, this is where the glowworm caves are. I'm pretty sure this is already on your list. It's probably on everybody's list. If you want to make it epic, you can make it a blackwater rafting tour or a caving tour. There's plenty of amazing options. I'm thinking about Waitomo Adventures, which is a great company to do that with. And so yeah, definitely all blackwater rafting company. There's multiple companies that do that. So you probably really want to see that. Otherwise, you can just get on a really slow boat and just admire the glowworms and then get out. So it can be fast or it can be quick. Then you want to go to Rotorua. Now, on the way to Rotorua, you can definitely stop at Hobbiton. Everybody wants that picture in front of that big round hole. And in Rotorua, it's the Maori kind of capital of New Zealand. You can taste the hangi and do a Maori evening. It's really awesome. Also, we did some geothermal area. This is where I will spend more than one day for sure. Then we're moving on to Taupo, Laura.
Yeah, so Taupo, that's sort of like the adventure capital of the North Island. So there's skydiving, jet boating, there's sailing on the lake, lots of really cool stuff to do there. And then the next day you can go not too far to the Tongariro National Park. People mostly know that for the Tongariro Crossing, which is a one-day hike, and you will need to plan a whole day to do that. So make sure you have accommodation either in Tongariro itself, in the areas of like National Park and Whakapapa Village, or in Taupo where they do transfers to the Tongariro Crossing. Okay, then next we suggest you go to the Ruahine Ranges to get some of that wilderness experience. And a really cool place to stop over there is a place called River Valley. And you can do whitewater rafting there and you can do horse trekking there. So that's a really cool place to stop on your way down to eventually going down to Wellington, which is the capital city of New Zealand. And it's definitely worth spending a couple of days here to do a few different things. In Wellington, you can go check out the Te Papa Museum, which is like a huge free museum about everything to do in New Zealand. There's also a place called Zealandia, where you can actually see some native birds and learn more about the ecosystem of New Zealand, which is really fascinating. It's personally one of my favorite things to do in Wellington. And then eventually you will be getting the ferry from Wellington to Picton, which is a beautiful trip in itself. And then in Picton, you have the opportunity to do some activities in the Marlborough Sounds. You can go dolphin watching. You can do sort of mail boat rides to go deliver mail to people in really isolated places. There's also mountain biking trails and plenty of hikes to do, like the Queen Charlotte track. Okay, so next we go on to Nelson. Do you want to talk more about that?
All right, so in Nelson, this is the gateway to the Abel Tasman National Park. Absolutely stunning area. I think everybody wants to visit the beautiful Abel Tasman National Park. There is hikes to do there. You can do kayaking, you can do boat trips. So it kind of fits every single level of fitness, which is quite good. Then we're moving on to Punakaiki. Punakaiki is like pancake rocks. So pancake rocks sounds yummy, but it's just beautiful. You can't eat them.
Believe me, I tried.
I arrived with my maple syrup and I went to pour it down. Damn, I couldn't. Anyway, so Pancake Rocks is basically stunning limestone formation with some beautiful blowhole. It's an amazing pit stop. We think that it's a great place to spend one night. There is a new Great Walk, which is actually going to be opening in the area as well, which is really awesome. And also there is some few caves to visit. So there is quite a few things to do there. And you're going to want a pit stop alongside the beautiful West Coast. Keep going through the beautiful wild West Coast of New Zealand. We're arriving to Glacier Country. There is a couple of glaciers side by side. There is Franz Josef and Fox Glacier. Pick the one that you feel like you want to do. To know which one you want to do, just watch the videos that we have. We've done every single glacier that you can hike in New Zealand. So, watch all of them and just, go on YouTube and type BackpackerGuide.NZ glacier and you'll find all of the one and you'll see which one you love. It's absolutely amazing to hike on the glacier and it's quite humbling to see how far they've gone due to global warming. So yeah, keep that in mind. We keep on going and we're going to Wanaka. In Wanaka, there is a beautiful lake. The lake Wanaka is absolutely stunning. You can take a picture of that Wanaka tree, which is this picture of this one tree sticking out of the water that everybody has seen in New Zealand. There is also a great place to do some skydiving, actually. And so we did really enjoy that. Then you make your way to Queenstown. So Queenstown, adventure capital of New Zealand, of the world. Everybody wants to go there. You already know everything you need to know about Queenstown, I'm pretty sure. But let me tell you some more. No, amazing place for adventure stuff. But just the lake is absolutely stunning. Just be ready to spend a lot of money. The budget that you need to have for Queenstown is going to be quite expensive, but you may want to spend here a few more days. Also, if you base yourself here, you can take a bus tour to going down to Milford Sound and then coming back. It may be the right thing for you. So like that, you just kind of don't drive for like that much. You have one day when someone else is drive for you and you can enjoy the scenery. So that may be really pleasurable. Otherwise, you can just drive down and come back up. But I think for the price of the gas, you're better off taking the bus at the moment.
But if you do have some more free time, then there's a lot of Department of Conservation campsites. If you do have a camper van that you can, and you make sure that you've got enough electricity and enough water in there, then you can stop by in some campsites and maybe take your time going to Milford Sound. That could be another option if you do have time.
Then from Queenstown, you're going to move up to Geraldine. Laura, do you want to take over?
It's Mount Cook next.
Oh, Mount Cook, sorry.
Yep. So in Mount Cook, there is another opportunity to do glacier hiking, heli hike onto the glacier, on the Tasman Glacier. And there's also scenic flights, which are absolutely breathtaking. Like it's some of the most amazing scenery that you'll see on the scenic flights there, seeing the highest mountain in New Zealand. And then after Mount Cook, you can make your way to Geraldine, which is really awesome for horse trekking and whitewater rafting, as well as a few hikes around there as well. And that's a really small town too, so you get that small town New Zealand feel.
It's really cool.
Yeah, and then finally make your way to Christchurch. In Christchurch, the city itself is famous for being the garden city because it's got some very amazing botanical gardens to go check out. And you can also learn a little bit more about the earthquake that happened there in the museums and stuff like that. And if you do have enough time, you can make a bit of a side trip to Akaroa, which is really awesome for wildlife. It has the largest colony of little blue penguins there, so you can go and do a little penguin tour there. There's also the smallest species of dolphins in the world that live there. So if you go on a boat trip,
so cute.
If you go on a boat trip around the Akaroa Harbour, you'll be able to see the Hector's dolphins, which are amazing. Yeah.
All right, cool. And then you fly yourself back up to Auckland and then head on to the next adventure. So that would be our perfect itinerary for 3 weeks around New Zealand. Now, if you want to do that with the camper van, what would be the best camper van companies to hire if you want to get rid of that?
Yeah.
Like one of the company that we would recommend will be Wender Crayson Travel. So Yuyan, that's the one that you were asking about. So this is a company that has a German name, but is based in New Zealand. Go figure out why they have this name. I think they just want to make my life hard because I mention them from time to time, and every single time I'm struggling so hard saying their name. Now the reason why we recommend those guys because first they are rather famous in New Zealand. They actually are pretty good camper vans. They're not the cheapest, but you're getting good quality. But one of the amazing inclusion they have is that they have no one-way fee. Now almost every camper van company will charge you a penalty basically for dropping your camper van in the South Island, just because that means they have to take it back to Auckland because almost everybody starts in Auckland. Well, those guys don't. So that may save you up to like $500 on your trip. So that's definitely worth considering. Another one is Heron Campers. Heron Camper is more of the higher end, but same thing, they don't have a one-way fee. They have absolutely spotless kind of camper vans. They are really amazing. They always come latest model and everything. The good thing with that is that, yes, they're slightly bit more expensive, but first, you don't have the one-way fee. And second, because they're much newer model, you're going to spend much less on gas. Yeah. And that's a very strong consideration to make when choosing your camper van company because well, gas is getting really expensive right now. It's almost every single day it's past $2 to $2.10 a liter at the moment. So it's quite big. And the last one would be Juicy because they have such a wide range. They go from camper car all the way to massive RV. So you can fit whatever kind of style of travel you want here because there is almost everything on offer with Juicy. So that would be the 3 companies that I will compare for a trip like this one. All right, so I hope that this answers your question, Tracy. If you are right here, give us a like, give us a subscribe. Come on, guys, if you do find that useful, like and subscribe. And if you do have a question of your own, make sure to put them in the comment below because, well, we're here to answer questions. Let's have a look at the live chat. Marisol is saying that she learned English only to go to New Zealand because she wants to live here, and our videos are so cute. Laura, are you cute? I think that side of the screen is the cute one, and this one is the loud one. Dick Shant is asking if we ever watched Jono and Ben. So actually, in New Zealand, Jono and Ben, they are both on TVs and on radio, so you can't really avoid them. So yes, sadly, I have stumbled upon them.
Yeah, we have stumbled upon them, but yeah, we don't personally have an aerial. We don't have TV, so
we don't watch often TV, and I don't think we are really drawn into those kind of like jackass radio personalities. We think they're funny, but that's
we do everything online. Everything we watch is on YouTube, so that's all we have really. Personally, for us.
Mary is asking how much money does she need per week to live in Wellington as a minimum. I would say 550 to 600 because you're going to have about 250 for rent. Then you're going to want to do a few things. It really depends how you live, basically. You know? But I would set aside between 250 to 300 for rent for a week, and then the rest is for fun. And Laura is say that she's a big fan of our YouTube channel, so that's I like to hear that. That's awesome, Laura. We love you too, Laura. Awesome. She wants to say many thanks for all of that. So our partner and I are going to go in 2 months, and they're really excited about it. Oh, do you have your itinerary already planned, Laura? Do you have everything ready, or I don't know about that. I like to actually hear what people are planning, which is pretty cool. Brandon, de rien, ça me fait plaisir. Apparently, I think he's from Quebec, so
he did say that before.
Tabernacle. Here you go. That's I don't know. That's something they say in Quebec.
Is it?
Okay. I still don't understand. I'm French and I don't understand what tabernacle is. So, Brandon, what the hell is tabernacle? Actually, tell me that. It has nothing to do with New Zealand, but I'm curious. Cool. Anyway,
let's move on to another question.
Yeah. What about we do what we're here for?
Yeah.
What the hell is tabernacle? I'm actually gonna have to Google that while you answer the next question. Laura, you're gonna be answering the next question. Pick one here.
Top one.
Yeah. What about that?
Okay. So on YouTube, Ephesia asked, "Hey guys, thank you for your video. I really need your help. I personally had other cities in mind, but cannot decide. I plan from February to work for 6 months in the same city and then travel everywhere. I'm hesitating between Wellington and Tauranga. I want to work as a barista and work quite a lot. Thank you."
Ooh, work quite a lot.
Quite a lot.
All right, cool. So we have 2 cities to compare. So let's start with the first one. What's the first one? Wellington, right?
Yeah. So Wellington is the capital city of New Zealand, and it's pretty much the capital of coffee as well. People go nuts for coffee in Wellington. So if you do want to work as a barista, it's sort of like the first place that comes to mind. But you do also have to bear in mind that because it is the first place that comes to mind, it's the same for everyone. So it's going to be really competitive. Everyone that wants to work in a cafe is going to go there to find a job. So it might be quite hard. You are competing with other people. And in New Zealand, really good barista skills are really competitive. And there's a lot of people that have done like actual real training and got like qualifications in this stuff. So
well, you're assuming that Ephesia doesn't have real training?
Well, I don't know. That information wasn't included in the question. But just the main point is that it's going to be very competitive in Wellington, but maybe you like that. Maybe you want to have some competition or something. I don't know. But in terms of staying there for 6 months, obviously, when you do have days off, you probably will want to explore. Of course, you're in a new country, you want to see the place. But the problem with Wellington is that it is located right at the bottom of the North Island, and sort of getting around is a little bit more difficult in comparison to other places on the North Island. So if you are keen to explore more, then maybe Wellington's not a good place to base yourself for the entire 6 months. Is there anything else you'd like to mention about Wellington?
I think I want to talk about how isolated that is.
So it's right at the bottom of the North Island.
Yeah, that's really kind of the one thing that will be drawing me away from Wellington. But if you're barista, if you're all about coffee, that is where I would go. But it's a bit isolated.
Yeah.
Moving on to Tauranga, though, it's a polar opposite of Wellington, right? Yes, there is much less coffee shop, but man, it's so central. You'll be able to go so many different places. So I would definitely make sure that I base my. I will spend some time in a place which is less isolated than Wellington. So that's why I will actually really strongly consider Tauranga. Although it might be a little bit harder to find a job as a barista because there is much less coffee shop. On the other hand, because there is much less coffee shop, there is going to be much less competition from other baristas to get the job. So that may give you the edge and making you able to actually have a barista job rather easily. But there are plenty of other jobs in Tauranga as well.
Yeah, so Tauranga, for basically working holiday makers, which I assume you will be, for Tauranga, it's really famous for picking jobs. So, working on farms, and this is very seasonal, very temporary. So you can make some quick cash. It's the pay is like pay per bin, so pay by basically how much you pick, which when you're working as a team with other people, you can actually make some quite good money there. But yeah, so the good thing about Tauranga is that there is a lot of other types of jobs that you can do. Also there's retail, there's warehouse jobs, there's loads of different things you can do. And you might want to consider doing something different to what you're used to when you come to New Zealand, because that's sort of what a working holiday or working abroad is all about. It's about trying lots of different experiences, and Tauranga is definitely a good place to do that.
Yeah. So I wouldn't dismiss Tauranga straight away. I think it has a lot of advantages, especially if you want to base yourself there for a wee while. If you're after city life, like most people that actually base themselves in Wellington, they are after the city life and they just want the city life. So on the day off, they just want the city life. They're not looking at exploring New Zealand, right? When you base yourself in Tauranga, your days off, you actually explore the Greater North Island. And so that's really a very different way to approach a trip. And you need to actually think about what your trip is all about. Is it all about working? Or is it all about kind of exploring? And I feel like finding the balance is extremely important when picking a city. To me, I always personally prefer trying to find something that will get me out of the city as much as I can, because working is a secondary purpose to when I'm working and traveling, right? Working is the afterthought that will enable me to kind of have an amazing experience. So I'm more willing to suck it up on work and have a work that I like a little bit less, but that allows me to explore and make this trip something that I would really remember, rather than actually just having work, and then basically remember my trip as, oh yeah, I was working abroad.
Yeah, you can work at home.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to be working abroad. I want to travel abroad and work along the way to allow me to do that. So that's basically how I will approach this one.
Yeah.
So yeah. Wellington or Tauranga, there are pros and cons for both. You heard it, so it's really kind of up to you to choose which one you prefer. I'd love to know which one you decide on, and so make sure to let us know in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe, guys, if you find that super useful. We're going to go through some more questions right now, so let's get started.
Yeah. So let's move on to the next question.
This one straight away. Boom, boom, boom.
Why not move on to the next one?
I just want to say hi to the live chat.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Andrew is coming to say hi. So Andrew, hello. He's been here last week, I think, as well. Lucky campervan rental.
I think you need to be lucky with Lucky campervan miracle.
It's some of the cheapest, and they're cheap for a reason. So if you have the budget, I would look at the recommendation on our website and see. Just go on BackpackerGuide.NZ and go and type best campervan rentals, and you'll have all our articles. So Andrew, try your luck or read our website. That should be our new slogan. Try your luck around New Zealand, read our website and have real advice. But yeah, I would definitely do that. Brandon is asking 2 nights in Rotorua and 1 night in Auckland, or 2 nights in Auckland and 1 night in Rotorua. 2 Rotorua, 1 in Auckland.
Yeah.
There is so much to do in Rotorua, and Auckland is just yet another big city. So if you want to go in a big city, you go to Montreal and you have better food than you have in Auckland. Controversial, but true. So yeah, if you want a big city, you go to any big city in North America where you are, and that's pretty much it. So you just arrive in Auckland and then you get out as soon as you can and go to Rotorua, so you can have like 1 night where you can do one of those Maori evening where you have the hangi and all of that, and then you have another day to, for example, explore all the geothermal area and everything.
Relax in a hot pool.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely 2 Rotorua, 1 Auckland. I don't think there is any question about that. So yeah, Here you go. And Andrew said you just wanted to hear what we had to say.
Testing us, are you?
He says, I worked there for a month and the reviews don't lie. Well, here you go.
All right.
You've got an insider's tips right here, guys.
You only worked there for a month.
Yeah, well, that's already a good sign. Why just a month? Anyway, all right, cool. Let's keep moving with another question.
Okay. So on YouTube, Gianmarco Zacharias asked, I'll be coming to New Zealand this July. I know it's winter time. Any suggestions? I'm from a tropical country, by the way.
That sounds nice. I want to be from a tropical country.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'll go to where he's living.
What's his name? Gianmarco. Gian, can you tell us what tropical country you're from already? I want to know that. Anyway, your question. So you're going to come to New Zealand in winter and you're not used to the cold. Okay, so there are some people, like, people from Canada, they are definitely used to the cold. And there are some people which are definitely not used to the cold. So the cold in New Zealand is going to very much have a different meaning to that, because I did live in Vancouver, for example, and I can tell you the cold here in New Zealand, even Vancouver is not necessarily a cold place in Canada, but the cold in New Zealand was not as bad as there. So you have to keep that in mind already. Cold is very relative to where you're from. Now, for the weather in New Zealand, in winter, because July is going to be like winter, don't picture New Zealand to be entirely under the snow, right? It's usually on the mountainous areas that you're going to have snow. In New Zealand, it's mostly rain during winter. So you've got to know that. Even if you stay in places like, let's say, Queenstown, which is kind of like this ski resort, everybody kind of picture that and this and that. Very often, you've got snows on the mountain and on the ski field, and you get great snow over there, but it's not that much snow in Queenstown itself. You have a few days where it's going to be snowing, so you can take your Instagram shots, but that's pretty much it. Most of the time, it's going to be rain. And for this reason, you've got to keep in mind that you need to pack for the weather. Now, New Zealand weather is extremely changeable. We say all the time, 4 days in one day. But one thing which is sure, if you arrive in New Zealand in July, you will experience some rain. So you need a really good rain jacket. Now, you don't need this really thick rain jacket that you need for snowboarding, because we prefer traveling with layers. So I will advise you to have like 3 or 4 different like merino wool or wool layers, which is going to keep you really warm. And then you put the rain jacket on top of it. Like that, depending on the weather, you can take off those layers and you're not going to be too hot. If you have this really thick rain jacket, then, well, you're just going to be cooking, even if it's just light rain. So that's a bit annoying. So I will have a good but light rain jacket and then some merino, some wool layers, right? That's definitely what you want to pack. Now, keeping going with some packing tips, you want some waterproof shoes. That's so important to have some waterproof shoes. Well, because again, it rains a lot. So if you buy some hiking shoes, make sure that they are waterproof, Gore-Tex, whatever, like Tech-Tex or WaterTech. They all have a different name for different brands, but you want that technology. That's for sure, because there is nothing worse than hiking with wet feet. It's so annoying. It's so annoying. So keep that in mind. Also, well, you may want to invest in a couple of woolen socks, because if your socks getting a little bit wet, you're not going to be too cold. But if you have cotton socks, you're losing your toes. You're not losing your toes, but it's really cold. So that's to keep in mind for the weather. Now, you can escape the weather, though, if you head to Northland.
Yeah, so in Northland, that's sort of described as the winterless north in New Zealand, because it's sort of a subtropical climate in the very north region of the North Island, and it never feels really way too cold up there. Yes, the rainfall probably, I think it does increase during winter, so it will still be rainy, but if you really can't stand the cold, then the best place to go is Northland, because there's a lot of sunny days that come along with it, and often it just really doesn't feel like winter. It just feels comfortable is probably the best way to describe it.
Yeah.
But if you do want that to actually experience that real winter feeling, which I think if you're from a tropical country that you would be interested to see what that's like, then I think you should head down to the South Island, bearing in mind that that's further away from the equator, so it's colder, and in the middle of the country, well, in the middle of the island, sorry, is the Southern Alps, where you'll get to see all the snowy mountains. And I'm pretty sure that, if you're from a tropical country, that would be really awesome to see.
Yeah, that's some pretty cool views. Like when you have the lakes and you have all those snowy peaks and everything.
Yeah.
So, I would definitely consider that. But you just have to get yourself a little bit prepared. If you can find those kind of gears that we're talking about, by the way, when packing, you can find them in Auckland.
Yeah.
When you arrive in New Zealand, just grab a little bit more money and buy them when you arrive in New Zealand, because as like in New Zealand we sell the weather clothes that we need for New Zealand, so
exactly.
You'll be able to find that, and we have plenty of tips on which are the best outlets to go buy those things, which are the best shops. So it's all on BackpackerGuide.NZ, and we'll put the link in the description below. But we're not done just yet. What about traveling in the winter
Yeah.
in New Zealand?
So July is actually a really good time to travel New Zealand because it's considered the low season for tourists, meaning that there's less tourists in the country. So you don't have to really worry about things being fully booked or anything being like really expensive. Everything that's going to be priced is going to be at its lowest price during winter. That includes car rentals are going to be so much cheaper than in
So
summer.
much cheaper.
That's like the biggest price difference. But yeah, there'll be a few activities and accommodation that do some winter specials. So yeah, you'll be able to save some money in comparison to traveling in summer. And often when you are exploring New Zealand, if you're on any hikes and things, you'll feel like you have the whole place to yourself because there are far less people traveling at this time of year. And personally, I feel like this is like the best time to travel around New Zealand. Yeah, the weather might not be as perfect and as sunny as it may be in summer, which to be honest, in summer it's not perfect either. But you know, if you have all the right equipment, you know, you have your rain jacket ready, you have your different layers to warm up if you need to, your waterproof shoes, as Robin said, then you are going to be just fine and you're going to have an absolute blast. So I think that's everything covered for this question about what New Zealand is like in July. If you guys have any more questions that we can cover really quickly before we wrap up this video for today, make sure you put them in the live chat and we will get to them as soon as possible. But do you want to talk to more people on the live chat or do we just jump into another question?
No, Brandon just froze my brain by saying there was minus 32 ways from at the moment. So minus 32, that just sounds
Is
crazy.
that Fahrenheit, obviously?
I don't know. Is it Fahrenheit? I don't think
it has to be Fahrenheit.
Yeah, it has to be Fahrenheit. Yeah, it has to be Fahrenheit. Anyway,
which we don't know what that is in this. Well, I personally don't know what Fahrenheit, the minus 32 Fahrenheit is.
So Lauren Brute is asking, what is it like in March? What is New Zealand like in March? If you all know about the weather, we actually did a video just last week about that. So just scroll down on our video feed and we actually go through the whole weather in New Zealand in March. Since you're probably going to be traveling in March, if you ask that, definitely check this video out. That was literally out last week. So just scroll down and find that. And the rest for traveling, it's the end of the busy season. So we are see all on the same video. We give you some tips in what to pack and how to travel there. But yeah, full video about that. You're going to love it. 8 minutes of pure delight about the New Zealand weather and New Zealand tourism industry in March. So check that out, Lauren. You're very much welcome. Alex say that is it a he or is she? I'm gonna bet it's a he. I'm hiking the Milford track this week. Did you do it? And do you have any tips if you did? The Milford track is one of the most popular great walks to do in New Zealand. The one thing that I would say is that be ready to have other people on your picture because it's a hike which is so often fully booked. And you know, every time we kind of do those kind of hike, we try to have those, you know, beautiful, picture perfect kind of areas. There is a lot of people in there, but it's really fun in the huts at night because there is plenty of other people. You can socialize along the way, and everything it's really awesome.
Yeah.
And it's such a stunning area.
My biggest tip though is that make sure you have enough wet weather gear.
Oh yes,
this is the wettest part, not only in New Zealand, but in the world. Like Milford Sound is one of the rainiest locations in the world. So, and especially on the Milford track. And although we haven't done the Milford track ourselves because it's always been fully booked and we've always been doing other things, we have had friends that have done it and they said that whatever wet weather they took, whatever wet weather gear they took, they always felt like they had to have more. Like if you've got one lining for your backpack, maybe stick a few like plastic bin bags or something in the bottom of your bag, just in case you need to wrap up anything else to make sure it doesn't soak through. The weather's really unpredictable. So just make sure that you are ready for rain, even if it's not forecast, just be ready.
I can't stress that enough. Can't stress that because we also done some hike around the area as well. Which because that's the thing that you know everywhere there is one great walk, there is like 10 other walk around it, which are very similar, but just don't have the brand of great walk. Where you have you can definitely go like very easily and everything, and which is usually the thing that we try to do more. And yeah, definitely wet weather gears. So yeah, especially the lining for the backpack, like. Have to.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Should we go for another question? Maybe this one's pretty cool. Okay. So Abhishek Gutam on YouTube asks, "Hi team, what is the best mode to make payment? Cash, credit card, traveler's check, for cabs, grocery shopping, eating out, etc. when I arrive in New Zealand. I'm not sure about using credit cards because I may have transactional charges. So what are your suggestions for the initial days? All right. Cash. All right. So to do the transactions in New Zealand, I mean, our favorite method of payment is cash, just because there is no fees, because it's accepted for everybody, by everybody. So it's accepted everywhere. It is such the convenient way to actually sort out all your finances when traveling around. It's so important to actually have some cash with you, because also there are some places around New Zealand where there is not going to be any internet, and it does happen somewhere around New Zealand, right? If that happens, well, no internet means no lines for the credit card machine or whatever you call that, for the terminal.
No internet.
So that means you won't be able to pay. So it's so important to always have some cash with you. I mean, I shouldn't really say that on live stuff, but we always travel with at least $200 to $500 in cash on us, just to make sure that we are able to get by if something happens, right? It's so important to do that. So a couple of tips for having cash when traveling around New Zealand. First, have the cash in a couple of places on your person, so you can have some like in one of these pockets, for instance, or some hidden in the car and some in your backpack or something like that. So kind of put them in a couple of different places, that's for sure. Second, never exchange the money at the airport. Okay, I know it can be a little bit stressful arriving in your country and all of that, but no. Don't exchange at the airport, because the rate is always the way worse. There are many places to exchange cash at a much better rate, especially in Auckland. So definitely do that. And the other thing I would say for cash is that if you plan on using cash when you want to jump into a bus or anything like that, make sure that you have some coins as well, because, for example, city buses, like let's say you take the bus within the city of Auckland, you actually have to have the correct change. They don't give change back. So if you don't have the $3.60 that they ask you, well, you've got to leave the $4 and you're not getting any change. So just keep that in mind for when using cash in New Zealand. Do you want to talk about credit card maybe?
Yeah, so credit cards, we wouldn't really suggest that this is the main method of payment that you use while you're traveling in New Zealand, mainly because there's often fees associated with using credit cards, not only from the bank itself, from your bank every time you make a transaction in another country, but also the merchants in New Zealand. A lot of them do charge extra fees for using international credit cards, which, that really does add up and can add an extra unnecessary cost to traveling around New Zealand. So that's usually why we wouldn't use credit cards. And also, in some places they don't actually accept credit cards. So, in those situations where you might not be able to use them, which is, quite a lot, it's really not worth relying on credit cards. So what we would personally do is we would use cash as our main method of payment. But if you do want to have a credit card just as a backup for emergencies, that would be a good idea as well. Just so you have something to fall back on if you end up maybe spending all your cash, or you just need like an extra significant amount of money for whatever emergency might occur. That's all I've got to say about credit cards. Is there anything else you'd like to add about credit cards, or shall I move on to the next one?
Did you explain about the fees, that even if there is no fee, there is a fee?
Even if there is no fee, there is a fee. No?
One of the things that you need to know
I
is
just said there was fees. There's fees.
Yeah, no, there is, but no, very, very often a bank, especially back home, will kind of sell you a credit card telling you that you're not going to have any fees using it overseas and all of that. Well, there is still a hidden fee, meaning that they give you a much worse exchange rate than they will give a person that has a card with a fee. So actually, there has been many studies around, and they actually say that sometimes the card with the fee actually costs less than the card with the fee when withdrawing money overseas. So keep that in mind. When they tell you no fees, there is usually still a fee. I just want to hammer that nail right here, because it can get really expensive. And if you add the 1.5 or 2.5% fee that the merchant will charge you, and then you add the exchange rate, which will, let's say, be like 5% worse, well, you already just added yourself like 7.5% extra on the cost of your trip. That's so much. Yeah.
So the final thing that Abhishek mentioned was Forex cards and traveler's checks, which we would really tend to stay away from completely, because in New Zealand almost nobody accepts travelers checks in particular here. It's like if you try and redeem them, there's a lot of times where you'll be turned away. There's a lot of places where you won't be able to redeem them, so it's kind of pointless. Also, the fee is pretty huge for using them. Robin can give you a good old rant about travelers checks and Forex cards, because
why did I write right here?
Because I just saw on the notes right here that he basically wrote it's a scam. So
listen, guys, I've been helping travelers in New Zealand for many years. I've had so many friends coming around as well. I've been in this industry for a long time. I can tell you, travelers checks, those kind of cash cards and everything, they're accepted by barely no one. They're so expensive to redeem. It is just the things to stay away from. I cannot stress enough that those things are not what you want. You want to have, basically, to recap, you want to have mostly cash until you open a bank account in New Zealand. If you're on a working holiday, then you open your bank account. Then you can use your debit card and whatever card you have right here. But mostly you want to use cash until you've got your bank account in New Zealand, or you want to use your credit card just in case of emergency. If you need to do a mix in between, you use your credit card maybe once a week to withdraw a lot of cash, and then you spend your cash throughout the week. But you stay away from any other of those fancy method of payment. Is absolute pure BS. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Now, if you're on a working holiday, here's what you do. You arrive with some cash, you open your bank account as soon as you can, and then you go on our website and you check out how to transfer money from overseas to New Zealand, because we did work out what are the cheapest options and all of that. I think the one that we found the cheapest is called XC. And so you do the transfer, they have better rates than some of the one that give you a free transfer, so those kind of things. And you transfer to them, you get your money faster without paying fees to the bank and all of that. So that's basically how we will do it for using payment method in New Zealand. I think it's very important to educate people on that, because it's something that a lot of people kind of forget to think about.
Yeah.
So plenty of links in the description below that we're going to be putting just to help you guys, further a little bit about those information and get a little bit more insight. And so links below. And if you think that is useful, like and subscribe, guys. This is really helping us quite a lot. All right, going through live chat first up. Thank you, Brandon, for a donation. I think that's our first donation, isn't it?
It's our second
donation.
I am keeping count. Don't have to count quite high.
Yeah.
But
Now he's asking if we're going to do a 365 days in Canada, Quebec.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah, I think that'd be really fun. But I have to say, New Zealand is a country which is quite easy to travel around and allow us to do so much. So I feel like it was a very easy way to do it. I think doing that in Canada, knowing the driving distance, because I did a working holiday in Canada back in my youth days, the driving distance are so long. I think it would be 360 days of driving and 5 days of activities. Going from place to place. So I think it'd be a little boring to watch. But I went to Montreal, I ate my poutine, and I just can't wait to get back there. All right, cool. Laura was asking about Laura Prez, not you. The other
Laura on the live chat. Yeah.
She was asking what the different kind of prices. It can be 50 to 70% off.
It's so much cheaper.
It's crazy.
Honestly.
Yeah, we've seen some vans. We actually have seen some vans which were renting for 119, so 119 in summer, and that were renting for $19 in winter. So it can be a huge difference.
Yeah, just go onto any like campervan websites that you're thinking about and just change your travel dates. Like, see what it's like. What the prices are like in, say, August compared to February, and you'll see the difference is huge.
Yeah. Cesar Rodriguez was saying that he's hiking the Milford track on the 16th of March.
We literally just talked about
it. We literally just talked about it, so you need to rewind a little bit. We talked about that.
The weather and clothes to use. Weather, probably rainy. Clothes.
Rain jacket.
Lots of rain
jacket, waterproof shoes, merino layers to keep yourself warm.
But we literally did just talk about that a few minutes ago. So
rewind. So rewind like about 15 minutes the video and just watch, and you'll find that.
Yep.
Now, Brandon was saying that it was minus 32 Celsius. So
I didn't even know it could get that cold.
So now I'm just going to go back to the 365 days in Canada. No.
Yeah.
Bleep that shit. No, hell not. Andrew is asking why we're not permanent travel guide here, where we're not able to stay longer. Who says we're not in New Zealand? We actually tell everybody we actually live on the central North Islands. We are still in New Zealand. We love it. BackpackerGuide.NZ is actually now the largest travel guide in the country, and we do that full time. So yeah, we've been doing that for a few years, and we damn love it.
Yeah.
So yes, we are foreigner. We've only been here for quite a few years, but we were not born in New Zealand, but we are definitely New Zealand expert, and we're definitely staying in New Zealand now.
Yeah.
So yeah, made in New Zealand, my friend. Cesar is asking how much cash is recommended to spend in a month in New Zealand to both island in March. Wow, that really depends what's going to be your itinerary, but usually Laura and I advise to have about 2,500 New Zealand dollars per month when you're traveling around. That's usually the rough kind of ideas, but you need much more context. How you're going to be moving around, what's your transportation method, what your activities
are you going to be doing,
where are you going to be going, which are the places you're going to be hitting, all those kind of things. But usually we usually say that. He's asking US dollar or Europe to exchange in New Zealand. Both of them are very useful currencies. I feel that the euro is fluctuating a little bit less than the US dollars at the moment because of their political climate. But on the other hand, Europe is a bit in turmoil with the UK at the moment. So half. There you go. But I don't really know. Lauren is saying hi to Diane. Hi, Diane. Is it you, Diane? No, I think you're Laura.
She's obviously talking to a friend that she hopes that's watching.
Cool.
Yeah.
Kaysen say, hey, friends, he's leaving Montreal. Oh, my gosh, it's taking over from Canada right here.
Yeah, Canada's all over this live chat.
Oh, my God, no, actually, even just Quebec is taking over. I like it. He's been living in Montreal for New Zealand in 2 days. Oh, 2 days. Man, that's so exciting. I love it. Mm-hmm. Thanks for all the great advice and lead up. It truly helps so much. Well, you're very welcome, Kirsten. I hope you're going to have a blast in New Zealand. So how long are you going to be staying in New Zealand? What are you going to be doing? Tell us all that. And if you do have some questions, if you're like in the stressing part of the trip, just make sure to ask us. We're here to answer questions. We're here for another, about like 5-10 minutes. So if you have any questions, put them in now. By the way, if you have questions, literally, we're going to be taking like 1 or 2 more questions. That's pretty much it. So put them below right now. Don't miss out.
Running from place to place in New Zealand, do you have any specific tips or warnings for this?
Okay.
If you're running from are you literally running? Or does that mean driving, like moving from place to place?
What? Yeah, you need to just tell us, Kirsten, are you actually going to be physically running, or are you going to be just moving a lot during your trip?
Yeah.
Just give us some insight.
Literally running.
What?
If you're running along main state highways, bear in mind that not a lot of people are used to people running on the side of the road. So
okay. So just first, the highway is not like the highway in Canada, right? The highway is like your normal country road in Canada. Like we have very little of those really big highways, right? So if you're running, I would actually say consider the Aotearoa Trail, maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's kind of
the
like
Te Araroa Trail.
Yeah. So Te Araroa Trail. Yeah. So Laura is going to type it for you in the comment right now. So just do @Kirsten and then you. So the Te Araroa Trail is kind of a trail that links a lot of hiking paths around New Zealand, making it all the way from the top of New Zealand to the bottom. You can catch it in Auckland and finish wherever you want to finish if you want to. But yeah, that's definitely what I will do, because walking or biking alongside the roads in New Zealand is really not fun.
Yeah.
You have almost no curbs. There's big trucks driving really fast and people are not used to it. You're not going to enjoy that. But if you do this one, you basically just link hiking trail with hiking trails. You have very little amount of time there. It requires a lot of planning, obviously. You need to pack all your food and all those kind of things. But it links most of the town, so you'll be able to go from one town to the other.
But if you are planning on if you're staying in different cities and maybe you want to go out for a run here and there, just try and plan like to go on one of the trails rather than running on the side of the road, because like Robin said, there's a lot of places where they don't have footpaths and stuff, so it can be a little bit dangerous.
It can definitely be. So Te Araroa Trail, Google that, have a look at it, and say maybe consider this one. Now Lauren is asking about public transportation to the hot springs. Which one? We just talked about 20 of them.
If you're talking about Rotorua, there are some travel, sort of like tourist buses. One that springs to mind is Head First Travel.
Yeah.
If you book with them, they can take you first to the Waiotapu Geothermal Park and also give you some free time in the area to visit the natural hot springs just outside of the hot pools, which is like free to visit, and you can go and experience a natural free hot pool. And yeah, so that's a way to get out. Otherwise, for public transport, there is really, there's no buses heading in the right direction, basically, to get to some of the free natural hot springs. So Head First Travel, if you go to Waiotapu, that's probably your best option to experience the hot springs.
Yeah. Now, as for the best mode of transport, well, there is heaps of buses around New Zealand. So that's, we talked about buses so often. So browse through the channel a little bit, Lauren, and we answer questions about buses all the time. I feel like it's a very strong method of transportation. Yeah. And the most flexible is obviously to rent or buy your own car, because like that, you can do everything you want, which is quite awesome. Andrew says that there is a lot of hills and running up a hill sounds awful. I agree with you. I think walking uphill is really awesome. We do hike all the time and we go up to the top, but running, I don't think I'm just fit enough. I know it sounds crazy with the amount of activities we've done around New Zealand, but I don't think I'm fit enough to run around New Zealand. That's crazy. Yeah. I love it.
Well, have fun.
And Brandon, I think we should finish on that. Brandon says, Vive le Québec. So
that's pretty much
long live Quebec. I think that's what it means. And have a good trip, Kirsten. Yeah, I definitely want to hear from that. So, Kirsten, you have a bunch of fans already. So just make sure you I don't know, put your Facebook or anything in the live chat so we kind of can hear about these crazy things. Anyway, let's just wrap it up quickly.
Yeah, I'm
just kind of gobsmacked that these guys could be running around New Zealand. I kind of lose my mind, right? I'm just like, what? I mean, it just sounds impossible.
Tough.
Yeah. I mean, I admire you. Don't get me wrong, but I just kind of lost my momentum, my reason,
and he says he's doing it in February, which is going to still be quite warm.
Oh my god! I mean, wow,
it's going to be pretty hot.
Yeah, sorry,
But anyway, let's.
Someone says we're stars. Let's just finish on that. Yeah. Laura says that this big difference for the information. We are stars. Thank you very much, Laura. We're going to finish on some compliment to us. And it's live chat, and so then you can watch it at your next convenient time. So just make sure you do that. We do have a list all the time. Sometimes it takes us a couple of weeks to get to it because we do have a lot, but we always try to answer every single question. But the best way to get your question answered, the best and only ultimate way to get your question answered is to join us live. It's pretty fun. There's a lot of people. We chit chat together. We sometimes mock you. We sometimes just are amazed by your crazy plans. And but most of the time we're pretty useful. So yeah, it's a fun place. And we actually have already had quite a few people that decide to meet up. Just with the live chat, you make some travel friends right here. How cool is that? It's
pretty awesome.
Anyway, thank you very much for joining us. You guys rock. If you can click like and subscribe, that'd be really awesome because that definitely helps us. And in the meantime, travel safe, travel awesome, have fun on the road, come discover New Zealand, all of those kind of nonsense. Thank you so much for joining us. We love you guys. Have fun. Bye-bye.
See you later.